So, philosophically, or more abstractly put, to be an organism means to be a being whose being is its own doing. It is to constantly have to make an effort to continue to be what you are. Put more, I don't know, scientifically or ordinary biological terms, it means to be a metabolizing being. So, what is metabolism? Well, there's nothing technical really. It's just pointing out that to survive, organisms, you and me and everything else that's alive, as he says on the top of page 35 in the first column, means to exist by way of exchanging matter with the environment. That is, you and I have to eat, breathe, constantly exchange, take in things, elements, matter, substances from the surrounding environment, most crucially oxygen and other things, right, air, and to use that material to fuel our processes of life, and then to give it back in another form, in the form of waste products to the environment. That's metabolism, and that means that you and I, as he says in the second column of page 35, are always hovering between being and not being. And above that he says, because we are metabolizing beings, we have needs that must be met, which means that our existence is unassured and its own continual task, because the truth is, this metabolism business, this exchange of matter with our environment in very precise ways, is a very, very fragile thing. Cut off the air for a few minutes, we're gone. Cut off the water for a few days, we're gone. Cut off the food for a few weeks, we're gone. So, metabolism means that being who we are, being what we are, being the kind of beings that we are, is a continual struggle, a continual task. And there's the burden. Right? Because we're metabolizing beings, because we have to constantly work to continue our existence. He says, again on page 35, in the second column towards the bottom, we are constantly hovering between being and not being. The not lies always in wait and must be averted ever anew. That the not being is always there. Mortality is death. Life, in other words, carries death within itself. That is, to be a living being is to be a metabolizing being, and metabolism, the constant effort and struggle to continue to be who we are, is done constantly in the face of not being, of something going wrong with that struggle. And the struggle is, purely biological level or at a behavioral level. We're constantly fending off death every moment, not just when we're in mortal danger from some unusual occurrence, like that truck is heading right towards you or you're being chased by a lion. Those are just the most dramatic instances of staving off death. Every moment of life, we're staving off death by continuing the largely unconscious biological processes which constitute our constant activity as organisms, especially metabolizing. So this he calls the inherent dialectics of life at the bottom of page 35. That is, we are constantly in dialogue, in a way, or we're constantly, maybe not in dialogue, we're constantly faced with the prospect of death, and something can go wrong. So what are the implications for being metabolizing beings, or what are the ramifications of being a metabolizing being whose being is its own doing?